It was midnight in New York City, and I strolled along Manhattan's Fifth Avenue. That night, the city exuded a mysterious aura, as if it held countless untold stories beneath the cover of darkness. The lights of skyscrapers shimmered in the night sky, resembling stars adorning the city's nocturnal tapestry. I traversed a narrow alley named Lincoln Street, where the shadows of towering buildings cast intricate patterns on the pavement. The shops along the street had long closed, and the faint glow of neon lights danced in the air, creating a unique aesthetic characteristic of city nights. Street lamps flickered on both sides of the deserted sidewalk, casting dappled patterns of light. As I walked through the empty streets, I occasionally heard distant car horns and felt the warmth of a gentle breeze. Everything seemed to compose a melodious nocturne, guiding me into the depths of the city's late-night ambience. Cafes along the street emitted enticing aromas of coffee, while the distant sound of music wafted from a nearby bar, blending into the night air. I couldn't help but immerse myself in the nocturnal atmosphere of the city, savoring every moment of tranquility and vibrancy. Manhattan's architecture resembled a nighttime canvas, where the neon lights of skyscrapers interplayed to outline the city's silhouette. The lights spilling from windows of residential buildings told individual tales, each light representing a unique story quietly unfolding in the night. Deciding to head toward Central Park, a serene oasis within the bustling city, I experienced the harmonious coexistence of nature and urban life. Trees cast shadows beneath the moonlight, and the fragrance of fresh grass permeated the air. By the lake in the park, a gentle breeze ruffled the water's surface, and moonlight sparkled in the ripples. Seated on a bench by the lakeside, I gazed at the distant skyscrapers, lost in thought amidst the tranquility of the night. The city's nighttime ambience was both vibrant and serene, with every subtle element seemingly telling its own story. I became a transient spectator in the narrative of the city's night, reveling in the enchantment it held beneath the night sky. The clock tower in the park melodiously chimed, announcing the arrival of midnight. Standing up, I strolled back to the city streets. The beauty of New York's night lay not only in its dazzling lights, but also in the tranquility and mystery that pervaded the city under the night sky. Perhaps, hidden within this urban expanse, there were more secrets waiting to be discovered in the embrace of the night. As I continued my nocturnal exploration of New York City, my footsteps led me to a hidden gem nestled between towering skyscrapers, the St. Spiritus Cathedral. This ancient structure, a haven of tranquility in the heart of the bustling city, bore witness to centuries of history. The cathedral's facade, adorned with intricate carvings and stained glass, loomed above me as I approached. The moonlight gently illuminated the stone walls, creating an ethereal glow that enhanced the church's timeless aura. The grand entrance, slightly ajar, invited me into the mysterious realm within. Pushing open the massive wooden doors, I entered the sacred space. The interior was a symphony of shadows and candlelight, casting a soft radiance upon the worn marble floor. The scent of aged wood and ancient books lingered in the air, whispering tales of devotion and piety. The nave stretched out before me, its high vaulted ceiling disappearing into darkness. Rows of pews lined both sides, bearing the marks of countless worshippers who had sought solace within these hallowed walls. The silence was profound, broken only by the occasional creaking of the wooden floor beneath my feet. I approached the intricately carved altar, where a pale figure stood in silent contemplation. This mysterious entity seemed to transcend the bounds of time, its presence resonating with the spiritual energy that permeated the cathedral. The faint glow of candles flickered, revealing the contours of the figure's ethereal form. "Welcome, seeker," a voice echoed through the vastness of the cathedral. The words seemed to materialize from the very air around me, carrying an ancient resonance that sent shivers down my spine. The altar, adorned with aged scriptures and weathered candlesticks, became the focal point of a sacred ritual. The atmosphere intensified as the figure began chanting in a language long forgotten, filling the cathedral with an otherworldly cadence. As the incantations echoed, the candles' flames danced erratically, casting elongated shadows that seemed to come alive. The temperature in the cathedral dropped, and a cool breeze swept through, carrying with it a hint of something otherworldly. In the midst of the ritual, the cathedral's ambience transformed. The stone walls seemed to breathe, pulsating with an unseen energy. The stained glass windows, depicting saints and angels, began to radiate a subdued luminescence, as if awakening from a centuries-old slumber. I found myself drawn deeper into the ceremony, a witness to the convergence of the tangible and the mystical. Shadows danced along the walls, morphing into fleeting glimpses of spectral figures. The air resonated with the harmonies of ancient hymns, transporting me to a plane where time held no dominion. The pale figure at the altar grew more luminous, its features becoming a mere suggestion within the ethereal radiance. The boundary between the sacred and the supernatural blurred, and I sensed the presence of entities that transcended the corporeal realm. The cathedral became a conduit between worlds, a nexus of spiritual energies converging in a crescendo of mysticism. The boundaries of reality shifted, and I felt as if I were suspended in a realm where the tangible and the intangible coexisted harmoniously. As the ritual reached its zenith, a transcendent light enveloped the cathedral. The pale figure at the altar seemed to merge with the radiance, becoming one with the spiritual forces that pulsed through the sacred space. I stood there, bathed in the otherworldly glow, as the echoes of the ritual gradually subsided. The cathedral returned to its silent grandeur, the ancient hymns fading into a mere whisper in the recesses of my memory. Exiting the church, I felt a profound sense of awe and reverence. The mysterious ceremony had revealed layers of existence beyond the tangible world, leaving me with a profound appreciation for the enigmatic beauty that dwelled within the heart of the St. Spiritus Cathedral. The night still clung to the atmosphere within the church as I stepped away from the altar, surrounded by the dim glow of flickering candles. The feeble light cast eerie shadows in the corners, guiding my steps as if guided by some mysterious force. Continuing through the church's corridor, each step resonated on the stone floor. The air was pregnant with a sacred ambience, yet an unsettling premonition, a familiar fear, halted me in my tracks. At the end of the corridor, an ancient wooden door emitted a faint creak in the breeze. Pushing it open, I discovered a more secluded area, a small side chapel. The air carried the unsettling scent of herbs from a corner, heightening my sense of unease. In one corner of the side chapel stood an ancient statue. Its gaze seemed to penetrate my soul, inducing a profound sense of helplessness. I began to sense something amiss, as if the room's air grew heavy and oppressive. Suddenly, the candles in the side chapel extinguished, plunging everything into darkness. A chill crept over me, as if some intangible force permeated the surroundings. In the distance, the somber tolling of the church bell tower echoed, like a foreboding knell for impending doom. I turned to leave, only to find that the door behind me had closed. Hastening my steps, I attempted to escape this inexplicable fear. However, the structure of the church seemed to shift, the corridor winding and twisting, leaving me disoriented and unable to find my way back. Lost in the darkness, I heard faint whispers. Unidentifiable language, like ancient incantations, sent shivers down my spine. I quickened my pace, but the whispers seemed to follow, echoing incessantly in my ears. In the darkness, indistinct figures materialized around me. Their forms twisted, emitting a sinister aura. I could feel their gaze, as if piercing through my soul, revealing the depths of my fear. At the end of the corridor, a large door appeared, emitting a faint, otherworldly green light. Pushing open the door, I beheld a sight that left me speechless. A distorted and desolate version of the church unfolded before me, green light emanating from flames on the altar, forming a vortex of eerie green. In this twisted reality, I heard more incomprehensible whispers, accompanied by the wailing of spirits. Their voices formed a dark symphony, pulling me deeper into this realm of unknown terror. I attempted to cry out, but my lips seemed sealed by an invisible force, rendering me mute. Fear spread through me as if the entire world was collapsing, and I was unable to escape this shroud of darkness. Suddenly, I felt a powerful suction drawing me toward the green vortex. I couldn't resist, as if pulled by unseen hands. The wailing of spirits in the vortex became sharper, their images distorting into horrifying shapes within the green light. In the darkness, I lost control of myself, as if my soul was being torn apart. The vortex continued to spin, consuming my consciousness and leading me into an endless abyss. In the depths of darkness, I felt a cold force engulfing me. Consciousness gradually faded, leaving only boundless darkness and the piercing wails. It was a dream, yet I knew the terror would linger, like a shadow, eternally residing in the depths of my heart. My soul plunged into the abyss, a realm shrouded in eerie darkness. In this pitch-black fog, my existence became feeble and blurred, as if on the verge of complete consumption. Within this endless darkness, I gradually sensed an evil presence, a malevolent spirit lurking in the depths. Its presence made the air heavy and suffocating, and I could feel its unseen eyes watching me, full of malice and eeriness. Suddenly, vague images emerged in the darkness. Ghost-like figures traversed through the shadows, emitting low and hoarse moans. I realized that these apparitions were far from friendly. They were malevolent spirits awakened in the dark ritual. In the dark ritual, these eerie images gradually coalesced into tangible entities. Their forms twisted and horrifying, exuding a nauseating stench. These malevolent spirits began to approach me, their gazes resembling flames from the depths of hell, burning with hatred and malevolence. I attempted to escape the presence of these malevolent beings, yet no matter how hard I tried, it seemed an invisible force restrained me, preventing me from leaving the dark ritual. The malevolent spirits continued to close in, their forms wavering in the darkness, ethereal yet chilling. The dark ritual intensified, and I felt an intangible energy enveloping me. The flames on the altar grew more ferocious, consuming all negative emotions in the darkness, coalescing into a powerful and eerie force. Suddenly, the malevolent spirits lunged at me simultaneously, their clawed hands like razor blades, brimming with a desire for destruction. I felt an overwhelming fear, but it also sparked an instinctual survival desire deep within me. I struggled to evade the attacks of the malevolent spirits, but their speed was unnaturally swift.
Get out of here, stalker.
I could only barely avoid their razor-sharp claws. My body was surrounded by a chilling cold, as if penetrated by the dark forces threatening my life. In this dark ritual, I continuously dodged the assaults of the malevolent spirits, searching for an opportunity to escape. However, the dark forces congealed around my body, firmly imprisoning me in this demonic spectacle. The flames on the altar burned even more fiercely, propelling the dark ritual to its zenith. I felt a surge of intense heat, as if the entire space was warping and distorting. My vision started to blur, and I seemed to sense the presence of another dimension. In this alternate dimension, the forms of the malevolent spirits became even more distorted, their visages twisted and grotesque. They emitted ear-piercing roars, accompanying the climax of the dark ritual, and I felt an indescribable terror. I tried to scream, to break free from the shackles of darkness, but my voice was drowned out by the howls of the malevolent spirits. The dark ritual seemed to engulf everything, leading me into an endless abyss, and I began to feel my consciousness gradually fading away. Finally, I immersed myself in darkness, the attacks of the malevolent spirits no longer concrete and real, but transformed into waves of nightmarish illusions. I was swallowed by darkness, my consciousness sinking into a profound void. The dark ritual seemed to lead me into a distorted and absurd reality. In this alternate dimension, I felt the twisting of time and space, as if trapped in an incomprehensible nightmare. A hazy fog enveloped everything, shrouding all in uncertain ambiguity. I tried to discern the surroundings, but everything was distorted and warped, distorted images emerging before my eyes. In this twisted reality, those images that were once malevolent spirits became even more grotesque. They appeared as dark illusions, sometimes near me, sometimes faintly in the distance. Each appearance was accompanied by heart-wrenching howls, leaving me in a state of bewildered trance. I wasn't sure whether I was still in the dark ritual or had fallen into an escapable illusion. I struggled to stay awake, attempting to comprehend this intricate reality, yet everything became increasingly absurd and surreal. In the mist, I suddenly felt the presence of something sacred behind me. The figure of a priest materialized in my line of sight, dressed in pristine robes, his face adorned with a gentle smile. His appearance brought a sense of comfort, as if a glimmer of hope had emerged. The priest extended a powerful arm, as if shielding me from the assaults of those malevolent spirits. He began reciting prayers in an ancient and melodious language, seemingly capable of warding off the forces of evil. As he chanted, the distorted reality around us seemed to undergo a sacred purification, becoming clearer. The priest gestured for me to follow him, guiding me through this distorted dimension. Without hesitation, I followed, sensing an inexplicable trust. Under his guidance, I gradually distanced myself from the howls of malevolent spirits and the distorted images. During our journey, the priest began to recount the origin of this distorted reality. According to him, it was a dimension created by an ancient curse, harboring endless dark forces. The malevolent spirits were entities awakened by this dark ritual, running rampant in this twisted dimension. The priest explained that he was a clergyman privy to these ancient secrets, perpetually seeking a way to break free from this distorted dimension. His presence was not coincidental, it was a divine intervention to save souls lost in the dark ritual. Navigating through the mist, we approached the center of the twisted dimension. At its core, I saw a colossal and dark vortex, as if the source of all malevolent spirits. The priest continued his prayers, his voice transcending the distorted space, reaching the depths of the dark abyss. As the prayers unfolded, the vortex began to change. The once pervasive dark aura in the air gradually dissipated, replaced by a refreshing and tranquil atmosphere. The images of malevolent spirits gradually dissipated, and their howls became fainter and fainter. In the end, the vortex vanished, and the entire twisted dimension returned to tranquility. I felt a wave of relief, as if awakening from a nightmare. The priest smiled at me, his mission was accomplished, the dark forces were repelled, and the dimension restored its balance. However, I knew this experience would forever linger in my memory. In the distorted reality, I not only felt the influence of dark malevolence, but also witnessed the miraculous power of divine forces. It was an adventure through the realms of darkness and light, a revealing journey through a distorted reality. In the twisted reality, the guidance of the priest allowed me a temporary respite from the terrifying dark ritual. However, a profound sense of powerlessness spread within me, as if hinting that the forces of darkness still surrounded me. We traversed through the distorted dimension, distancing ourselves from the howls of malevolent spirits. Yet, I felt an unease, a lingering shadow of darkness entwining around my soul. The priest's voice became low and heavy, as if sensing this unrest. Just as I attempted to inquire about the source of this unease, a young girl's figure suddenly appeared before us. Her eyes were filled with despair and fear, as if deeply ensnared in the abyss of darkness. The priest's expression turned compassionate as he approached the girl. Her name was Maria, a victim ensnared in the dark ritual. Her gaze revealed helplessness, as if swallowed by endless darkness, unable to find a way forward. An eerie atmosphere surrounded Maria, suggesting that the dark ritual had profoundly affected her. The priest began soothing her with gentle words, attempting to understand the reasons behind her entanglement in darkness. Through Maria's narrative, I learned that she was a woman searching for a missing loved one. In her investigation, she inadvertently stumbled into this twisted dimension, plagued by the forces of darkness. It seemed her relatives had also disappeared within this endless darkness. The priest expressed deep sympathy for Maria's plight and resolved to help her break free from the shackles of darkness. However, I also sensed an intangible threat, as if the forces of darkness were attempting to erode our consciousness. We continued to traverse the twisted dimension, resisting the onslaught of dark forces. The priest continued his prayers, his voice a beacon of light, striving to repel the encroaching darkness. Yet, the darkness seemed to grow denser, attempting to engulf our beliefs. During our journey, we encountered more souls trapped in darkness. Each story was filled with endless sorrow and helplessness, as if this dimension were an infinite cage imprisoning countless lives. Suddenly, before us appeared a gateway that seemed to lead to freedom. However, a dangerous aura surrounded the door, as if it led to an unknown abyss. The priest warned us that this was the entrance to the core of the dark ritual, and only by passing through it could we truly escape this twisted dimension. At the door, we faced a difficult decision. Maria's eyes glinted with longing, desiring to reclaim her missing loved ones. The priest expressed a resolute resistance to the darkness, vowing to forever seal this dark power. I felt the inner struggle between the temptation of darkness and the desire for freedom. In the end, united in purpose, we decided to step through the gateway together, embracing the challenges of the unknown. As we entered the door, a powerful force of darkness began to envelop us. Our bodies seemed to grow heavy, each step akin to traversing an endless abyss. The core of this darkness would be our final test, determining whether we could break free from the dimension's constraints. The uncertain challenges of the future awaited us. Upon passing through the gateway to the unknown, we entered the heart of darkness, a place that felt like the abyss itself. Here, an overwhelming darkness permeated, not only as a physical presence, but as a darkness deeply rooted within the soul. In this core of darkness, we were greeted by a cacophony of eerie and bizarre symphony. It was a distorted melody emitted by the forces of darkness, where each note resembled a wail, brimming with malevolent power. I felt my body invaded by this melody, as if twisted by hands of darkness. The priest raised the holy chalice, initiating a sacred ritual, attempting to ignite a spark of divine light within the symphony of darkness. However, the forces of darkness seemed to resist the sacred ritual, and the symphony's melody became even more chaotic and distorted. Suddenly, a horde of demons emerged from the depths of darkness. Their forms were grotesque and twisted, emitting low growls as if in rebellion against the divine power. Their eyes glowed like flames from the depths of hell, filled with a desire to destroy life. Undaunted, the priest continued to pray, attempting to dispel these demonic entities. However, the onslaught of demons intensified, flowing towards us like a tide of darkness. The symphony of darkness reached a climax in the chaos, as if seeking to devour everything. We found ourselves trapped on the edge between darkness and light, where the sacred power clashed fiercely with the forces of evil. The priest's prayers were like a beam of light, attempting to pierce through the barrier of darkness, while the demons were like ominous clouds, attempting to engulf that light. In this symphony of darkness, time seemed to blur. Each moment was filled with tension and oppression, as if the entire dimension trembled within the vortex of dark forces. Our existence became insignificant in this chaotic atmosphere. The priest's prayers seemed fragile within this symphony of darkness, yet they acted as a ray of hope, calming our hearts. I struggled to maintain composure, resisting the invasion of these demons on our minds. Each struggle felt like traversing through a dark forest, fraught with unknown dangers. However, within the endless darkness, I sensed a glimmer of light. The priest's prayers gradually grew stronger, resembling a brave symphony, breaking through the shackles of darkness. The demonic howls weakened, as if being dispersed by the divine power. Suddenly, a dazzling light broke through the dark clouds, illuminating us. The priest concluded his prayers, and a solemn and sacred atmosphere pervaded. The symphony of darkness came to an abrupt halt, leaving behind a serene quietness. The demons gradually vanished, and the darkness in the abyss receded. It was as if we had escaped from the shackles of darkness, entering into a space filled with light. The priest smiled and nodded at us. His divine powers successfully repelled the threat of darkness. At the juncture of darkness and light, we felt a triumphant joy. Although the symphony of darkness was terrifying and mournful, through unity and faith, we successfully emerged from the abyss, welcoming a new dawn. After traversing the depths of darkness, we finally welcomed a clear sky. The divine powers successfully repelled the darkness, leaving behind an atmosphere of tranquility and brightness. I felt an unprecedented sense of ease, as if waking up from a long dream. The priest smiled and nodded at us, his eyes filled with appreciation and reassurance. His prayers and courage played a crucial role in this symphony of darkness. Under his guidance, we successfully resisted the invasion of darkness, ushering in a moment of victory. However, I realized that even though this adventure had concluded, I seemed to have returned to reality with a special ability. In the depths of the dark abyss, my psychic ability was awakened. This discovery left me both curious and somewhat fearful. Back in everyday life, I found that my perception of the surrounding world became unusually sharp. I could sense the energy of things around me, as if establishing some kind of connection with the forces of the universe. This perception was not acquired through the conventional five senses, but rather an intuition, an indescribable force flowing within me. My psychic ability began to manifest in dreams, where I could communicate with souls in the dream realm. In dreams, I encountered souls once trapped in darkness, transmitting to me silent sorrows and aspirations. The communication in dreams made me feel a different kind of connection, simultaneously bringing a sense of responsibility to help those souls unable to save themselves. My daily life was also affected by the influence of psychic abilities. I could sense the emotional fluctuations of people around me, capturing their deep-seated desires and conflicts. This perception was not entirely under control, and at times, I was troubled by the intense emotional impact of others, feeling a sense of heaviness and exhaustion. As time passed, I made efforts to learn to control this special ability. I sought the help of the priest, consulting him on how to use psychic abilities correctly, transforming them into a positive force. The priest provided me with many insights, believing that this ability was a divine gift meant to help others rather than become a burden. However, the learning process of psychic abilities was not without challenges. At times, I would plunge into darkness that I couldn't perceive, encountering souls unable to find peace. During such moments, the priest's guidance became my steadfast support, teaching me how to stay awake in the darkness and how to guide this ability correctly. Gradually, I began to accept and understand this psychic ability. It was not a curse, but a blessing, a connection between life and soul. I learned to wield this ability, transforming it into a force of love and assistance for others. In this process, I met many souls in need of help. Some were trapped in past sorrows, while others wandered endlessly. Through my psychic abilities, I endeavored to communicate with them, helping release the burdens in their hearts and find the direction to move forward. This journey was filled with challenges, but also growth and revelations. My psychic ability became a guiding force leading me toward the light, forming a connection between me and others, me and the souls. Throughout this experience, I gradually understood the meaning of life, realizing that it exists not only in the material world but also in the profound connections we share with others.